Grant, we're a few months into President Trump's second term in office. Give me your assessment in terms of where you think this economy is heading under his leadership.
We're going to go into the biggest expansion this country's ever seen. Everybody's underestimated this man for 12 years, maybe longer. This idea that he's actually president of the world and bringing people together, I think they don't understand a negotiating process and what it takes to actually bring people to the table. He didn't just do it to others first. He did it in-house first with DOGE, saying, hey, look, I'm going to confront and hold my own people accountable, and then we're going to go to the rest of the world. So I'm excited.
Well, you've talked a lot about President Trump's policies and how they impact positively the middle class and entrepreneurs. So tell me what it is he's doing that you like.
If you're an entrepreneur, small business owner, medium-sized business, you need incentives, rewards to actually take those risks. One of the reasons I moved from California almost 15 years ago was every time I would expand, they would penalize me with higher taxes, more regulations, more litigation. And so let me move freely in the marketplace. Let the marketplace do what it wants to do. Let me charge what I want. The marketplace will bear it. Let me make that money. Let me not get overtaxed because I'm profitable. I'm just going to reinvest the money and expand, hire more people. And every time I hire and expand, I'm literally relieving the government of having to hire or take care of those same people. So it's the middle class, small business owners, medium-sized businesses, all those people out there with 6 employees, 3 employees, 16 employees that actually carry this country and allow it to expand and do well.
And, you know, you have talked, I've heard you talk about the middle class before and how people can get out of the middle class and make it, you know, out of there, make it even further, grow things bigger than they ever expected. Do you think now is a great time for people to get out of that middle class and take that next step?
I was brought up, raised by a single mom. We were a middle-class family. The middle class is a mythology. It's about 250 million people consider themselves to be in the middle class, but they're really suffering with inflation, deflation of the dollar, the cost of mortgages, the cost of housing, food, supplies, everything. That's no one to blame except time. So my encouragement to the middle class is get out of it. Once you get in it, move yourself up another level so that there's prosperity and abundance, and you're not just putting everything on a credit card in life, and you're not stressed out under debt.
Got to use what you have.
That's right.
Yeah, you've said that most Americans are financially illiterate by design. Who's responsible for that, and how do we fix it?
It is my premise or belief that anytime a mass group of people suffer from the same thing, it's not their fault anymore. It is a cause. Somebody caused that to happen. So if you look at the middle class in America, suffering, barely pay their bills, 70% live in paycheck to paycheck. Increase in food prices will kill you. A decrease in the value of the dollar will kill you. If that many people are suffering from the same thing, it is because these people have all been taught the same thing. The American middle class has been left behind because they've been saving their money, doing the right things, and it's not working. We need to re-indoctrinate people to what wealthy people do, to use tax advantages, to make good investments, to not keep cash in savings accounts or treasury bills, and to actually put money to work. And that's, again, why I'm excited about President Trump. I reduced my tax bill as low as I can, and you should too.
So you have thousands of loyal followers at your 10X events. What happens there, and what keeps so many people coming back?
Well, because it works. Like, we're teaching people how to dream, not just manifest some, vision board, but to actually build a life of wealth. And when my dad died when I was 10 years old, the money went away. And so at the age of 15, I was so angry that nobody stepped in and helped me. I said, one day, I told my mom, I'm going to be somebody. I'm going to be successful, and I'm going to teach other people how to do. I think a lot of people respond to my message and to my authenticity and transparency. And my belief is people should earn and then learn.
I want to ask you a little bit about Governor Newsom in California. What the heck is going on out there?
He's not a leader. He's the worst governor of all 50 states for the history of the United States. He's taken the greatest resource this country has, the state of California, and he's ruined it. The last time I voted Democrat was in the state of California 13 years ago.
I believe the next governor of California will be a Republican. Number one, do you agree with that? And number two, will it be Grant Cardone?
I believe that the state of California can be flipped.
It's a beautiful state.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
You cannot find that state, the topography, the variety, the people, I didn't leave there because I wanted to. I left there because they overregulated me. I couldn't grow my business. It was 2008. They raised taxes from 10 to 13%. Now, 13 years later, it's just gotten worse. Okay, the extreme no family values. It is insane to me what has happened there.
You have Tesla leaving,
Elon, Toyota,
absolutely.
Chevron, Palantir, like these are trillion-dollar companies that are being forced out. Why would you force out and you let in 1.8 million people? By the way, they all come without homes. So now you're 3 million homes in the hole. They want people like me out of the state. So they raise taxes, they overregulate me, they push me out. Newsom knows this, Pelosi knows it, they all know this. They'll rely on Washington, D.C. to bail them out. They'll let the United States of America, the other 49 states, bail them out. So I'm going back to California to see if the people there actually have enough heartbeat left in them to stand up and say, I don't care about Democrat or Republican anymore. I want to flip this state back to common sense. The person that'll do this, the second part of your question was, will it be a Republican? It won't be the people running right now. It needs to be somebody fierce and somebody that has nothing to lose or is willing to lose everything to take them down, because it'll be the fight of a lifetime.
Is that Grant Cardone?
I got a fighter in me. I don't know if I have that one in me, but I got a lot of
I think it could be there.
Yeah.
It could be there. A lot of people
I'd have to
talked
get the
about
support. I'd have to get the support of a lot of people that you know that would believe that it's flippable in this cycle.
You have a lot of people advice. People constantly come to you and seek out advice. But what is the best advice that you ever got?
My dad said, look, never do anything to ruin your name, and then do everything to stand behind it and protect it. Because they can take everything from you, son, but they can't take your name from you.
Well, it sounds like you've heeded his advice, and it seems like it's working out well for you.
Yeah.
Well, Grant Cardone, thanks for taking some time with us. Thanks for sitting down with me. And good luck with everything you got going on. Yeah. We'll check back with you to see if there's any big announcement to be made. Thank you so much.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.